Hi guys, welcome to episode 1 of We Built a Gym. Episode 1, probably got to start with talking about why we are doing this, why we're spending our free time when the gym is empty doing this.
It is empty. It's eerie as well. The premise of this we sort of set up together was to talk about, how you can take something very small, an idea, and run with it and set up your own business, whether that be coaching or, in your case, obviously setting up the gym.
That's basically it. Yeah. Like it's one of those ideas that we've had for a long time, and we talk about how everyone else is moving into the podcasting kind of industry to add that string to their bow. And for us, we want to, we've always wanted to be in the areas that other people are, but slightly different. So us doing this, it's video alongside it. We get the joy of kind of bringing everyone into the gym itself. That it's called We Built a Gym because we literally built a gym.
Yeah.
And I'm quite excited by it, but obviously it's new and it's different. And I think every week, hopefully, we'll get a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's visual. You get to see us talking to each other, like interacting, and I'm hoping that we will be able to improve quickly. Just the same thing as setting up a gym, starting your own coaching business, anything where you're going in on your own venture. You have to kind of stick yourself in the deep end somewhere, and you're going to have to start from scratch and start learning and learn quick. Otherwise, you're going to get lost.
Buried.
Yeah, get buried, big time.
Like it's definitely. I was talking to my aunt today, and she was talking about how she's a mental health first aider, and she was talking about how like the risk of going out on your own and actually taking that leap. And I said, well, the thing is that for most people, they don't take the leap because they're relatively content in where they're at.
Yeah.
And I said, you've got like a good salary, a well-paid job. You don't have that, and you wake up every morning and you're not unhappy to go to work. Whereas actually, most of the people that do take the leap have that reason to.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They're push and pull factors, isn't it? Are you getting pushed into doing what you want, whether that be a hobby that you want to take a little bit more seriously, or something that you want to become, your new business venture, or something that might be the next big thing, and then you're getting held back by just not going for it. But I think that depends on the person's background, their context, doesn't it? Like, for me, I started at university, so I was at Oxford Brookes, not naming and shaming Oxford Brookes at all. It was a very good university. It's probably me that let it down, but I was there. I was doing a business degree, like the most vague degree you can think of. Didn't really have any direction with it. Wasn't enjoying it that much. But what I was enjoying was spending ages in the gym when I was at uni, probably try and get away from my work. And from that, I knew that I wanted to help other people in the gym, and I had a passion for that sort of industry. I didn't get into the stuff I do now, so powerlifting, strongman kind of training there. But I was just training hard and training a lot, and I knew I wanted that to be the direction in which I got pushed in, but I didn't know how to approach it. So,
were there any coaches there that you were like watching and seeing, or was?
No, not really. There were a couple of like sort of PTs and coaches at the gym that I spoke to and that I found really interesting, and I would sort of look at it and be like, I want to do that, or something along those lines. I hadn't really figured out. That's what I mean. I hadn't figured out my direction. I just sort of wanted to stick myself in the deep end somewhere because I knew anything would be more enjoyable than smashing out a 3,000 word essay on something that I just wasn't interested in.
Business.
Yeah, business. That just, some of the stuff we did in business.
I think mine is definitely the same but different, like same meat, different gravy kind of thing. Obviously, I'm not the sole owner of Athlete Movement. I own it with Tim, who, is kind of passionate about not being the face of things. He likes to be kind of beavering away behind the scenes.
And beaver he does.
Yeah,
beaver he does.
And so to project myself, for instance, as the only owner wouldn't be fair or correct. And the reason that like our faces are obviously on the We Built a Gym is because this is something we wanted to do. But the premise of We Built a Gym is that actually the gym is more than just the room. It's more than just the flooring that we laid. It's the community, it's the members, it's the feeling, it's the coaching, it's the services provided. And actually, the gym itself is made up of well, there's bloody hundreds of us really that play roles.
Yeah, and that's been the idea from the start, hasn't it? To make it more than just a gym. That's so cliche to say, but more than just a gym. But it is.
We do.
It's a movement. It's in the name, but it is more than that. It's the idea to sort of bring a lot of people together and just have something more than like treadmills and barbells. And I think what you have done is that, but that wasn't always the plan, was it?
No. Well, yes and no. But I mean, I definitely didn't start this at university.
Yeah.
Doing a 4-year PE teaching degree, I was pretty busy kind of learning to be a PE teacher and moving that forward, and I was working on the side and then just enjoying university life. I really don't understand the experience that people had who didn't enjoy university.
Like me.
When people say like, oh, I didn't enjoy it, I can't kind of be there with them because I enjoyed it so much, and like it was insane, and making so many friends and so many experiences and making so many mistakes that ended up in scars or mental scars.
And the rest.
And like near arrests and stuff. That was uni. But I ended up teaching. The thing with teaching is you get a job before you leave university. You have a job secured when you go, for most of us anyway. And I kind of walked into that role, and it just happened. Like you said, like push and pull factors. It was just happening, and I was there alongside it.
I can imagine. Yeah, teaching's one of those things where you kind of get swooped up in things. Once you got your degree, you're like just sort of floating around, and if you get picked for a job, you're going to take it on you, just like any job out of university.
Yeah, it's not like airy fairy like business.
Yeah, and you can't really pick and choose. Do you have to start in state schools in the UK? Anyway?
No, you can start in private.
Oh, you can.
It's slightly harder because of your newly qualified teacher year. I forget the specifics, but you can do it, but it's just not really done.
Yeah. Okay, so you started there,
and then making my way through state schools, and like not thinking about modesty or anything like that. I found that teaching just came very easy to me. Like I did very well on my placements at uni. You got graded on them, and I always kind of got the top grade, and I was really happy. I was really happy with that, and I found that teaching, I just took to it really easily, because teaching is just about, can you form a relationship with the children in your care, and do you understand what you have to show them? Therefore, great, off you go. And then I suddenly realised in my second year, oh wow, this is the same thing again. Here we go. It's just cyclical. Third year, the sad feelings set in when you wake up in September and realise, oh, here we go again.
I've got to go back to school. Yeah.
So then I went private. I'd done a lot of work in PE, in kind of expanding the provision for PE in Surrey, and ended up getting like this nationally recognised award from the Association for PE. We were the first infant school to get it. And me getting us that, it was essentially for my leadership more than anything, kind of took me to new places in terms of like doing a guest lecture at Brunel, leading Surrey conferences and stuff and helping other schools. And then a private school came in and said, well, how about you come on board with us? So I moved over, and I was attracted by the money and the holidays. And all the things,
fame and the fortune,
and the things that really tell you that actually this job isn't for you. All you're looking for is more time not doing it. So I went there, and then realised actually I hate this. Because I loved working with kids.
Just wake up one day, don't you? Just wake up one day and you're like, oh, I just don't want to do this. And then you have to try and go in a different direction. Or you realise that the thing you truly want to do.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I was just like everyone that trains in a gym, thinking I could do this, I could run this, and I'm sure most people that tune into something like this think I could do this. I could. Maybe they're going to listen to us and think, I could do that. I could open that, and that was how it all started. Was a night when me and Tim were just hanging out. And we were talking about opening a gym, and what would we do? What would our gym look like? And really cringe. We said we wanted it to look like Tiger's song "Rack City," and just like Rack City everywhere.
Just so many racks.
Just so cringe.
What a name that would have been.
Rack City. Yeah, 100%. And that was the idea, and you laugh about it. Like, how many people have that conversation? Oh, we'd start a gym, it would look like this. Woke up in the morning, went and trained at the gym I was training at the time, like this fantastic gym, and walked out and said, well, why don't we actually put some thought into it? Because how many people have the idea, and then how many people move it forward? You know, like coaching, how many people that powerlift or Olympic lift or whatever have that idea, I could coach.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, anyone who goes to the gym, like, there's so easy to get qualified. You know, you've got 6-week personal training courses that you can do them remote as well, just like university degrees. You can just go in on weekends, or I think there's actually ones you can straight up just do online, which, safe to say, is not good for the industry, but you can do it. And then those people get into the gym and they're like, well, why can't I be a coach? You know, I've done one competition, or I've lifted for 6 months. But it depends on how seriously you want to take it. You know, that's where I was at uni. I was like, right, how seriously do I want to take this? Well, I've got to start somewhere. So started
you
coaching.
Actually did start coaching.
I started coaching at university. Yeah, I started coaching there by setting up a powerlifting club with a couple of mates who I met through power, because I started powerlifting around university time. Set up a powerlifting club there, and then sort of from there, got in contact with my brother. Started coaching him and like a couple of his mates for free, just like regular, trying to find my feet, 12-week programs or whatever. I was still figuring out my own methods. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was very willing to learn, which I think is one of the biggest keys. You've got to be willing to learn. We're still learning to this day. Again, very cliche. Everyone says it, but you have got to be open-minded, and you have got to be willing to learn. Otherwise, you're going to crash and burn if you just go in with my way or the highway attitude, unfortunately. But yeah, started doing that and just built it slowly. And side note, very important, it was all for free. I didn't start charging immediately. I didn't feel like that would be a good thing to do. I'd just done my PT course. I was freshly qualified, and I wanted to start earning money from it. I was like, oh, great, this is gonna be the millions. No, it's not.
But like the magic fix.
Yeah, the magic fix.
Just put up that you're taking coaching spots and
yeah, you wear, yeah, that's it. You're like, I've got 5 spots free, or you wear the personal training top, and people are just going to come flooding into you, you know, flooding your inbox, or coming straight up to you in the gym like, oh, I want 100 sessions. Never going to happen. Like, I learned that super quick as well. You have to sell yourself. But I started it for free, and I wanted to try and offer value and actual help, you know, because that's what I wanted to get into. That was what I was about. That's what I would have wanted when I was younger, getting into the industry itself and getting into lifting and the gym. So yeah, I think you can go from one extreme to another, be unsatisfied in where you are, and then what do I really enjoy? What do I want to be passionate about? Start putting a lot of effort into that. You know, you came up with the idea, starting it from scratch, and formulated a bit more structure to it, and, you know, look what it's become.
Yeah, I think that's obviously where, because the podcast, like, every episode is probably going to be less self-referential than this one.
Yes.
In terms of not spending the whole time talking about us and who we are, and actually just talking about our experiences and literally the steps that we went through. So, you know, like, I think there'll probably be an episode on fundraising. Like, how do you raise enough money?
Have to cover that.
You know, what problems did you encounter? How are you talking to landlords? How are you talking to prospective clients? How are you navigating? Yeah. You know, kind of the
this is the general part. We can get into the nitty gritty for sure, because how do you actually structure the programs? What are you looking for? What kind of, you know, research should you put in? But it is interesting to sort of self-reflect and talk about, you know, how we started in either coaching industry or the setting up a gym industry, you know, like, because a lot of people can relate to that. A lot of people want to do it. It's so popular. You know, the whole fitness industry in general, how much it's grown, coaching industry, gym industry. Think of how many gyms there are in the UK now, the world, like what they're doing with them as well. It's just insane, and it's so fast growing that I think people want to know more about it.
That's the thing. How many people are in the gym training and think, I could do this, I could be a coach.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put on my Instagram profile, I'm a coach, and I'm taking clients, and think that that's all it is, and that they can just mimic coaching that they've had without fully understanding it. Or how many people are sat there or watching this, you know, and thinking, I could do that. What makes them special? Why why is athlete movement special? What is it about it? Why I could do that? And actually that's quite hypocritical of me, because I'm saying that is literally what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought I can do that. And I think what made it different in our case was that when I was talking to Tim, he was less unhappy in his job. You know, he was more happy in his job than I was, but still looking for more, looking to do more. And after, you know, like me and Tim have known each other since we were kids, kind of like, you know, 13, 14 or whatever, and going through all those life stages, you know, like secondary school, A levels, you know, like kind of dropping out of A levels at various times. You know, like I just didn't finish my A levels. Tim took an extra year. Like me going off to university because I went to college under a different kind of name just to get the qualifications to get to uni. Me and Tim, like working in America together. Like after all of that, all of those life experiences, me actually saying to him, well, why not? I think was the moment when he said, well, actually, I am unhappy and I do want to try it. And I was like, right, let's go. And I think, you know, at the beginning I was like, leave it to me. Like, give me a few weeks. I'll research, I'll blur, because that's my nature. I am quite,
you go all in.
Ready, fire, aim. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like ready, aim, fire. I'd shoot first and then look, was I pointing in the right direction?
Yeah, that's it.
And I start like just scouring the internet, like basic person, you know, like opening my own gym. You know, like what does it need? And reading all these like pointless blogs, hoping I could find something like this. Where there's people that are going to tell me, well, this is what we did and these are the hurdles and this is where you're going to trip up. Because you think you can do it and you're going to find that there is something you can't do.
There are some barriers and hurdles. And there is in every industry as well. Like, that doesn't just go for setting up gyms. Like, you're going to run into some serious hurdles in anything you go into. Like, talking from our own experiences, setting up a gym, the coaching industry and services within that, you know.
That's the thing, the coaching, because you do meet so many people who, you know, they say, well, I'm a coach. And they're like, oh, okay, like
what does that mean?
Talk to me about that.
Well, what is involved in that, you know? How much experience do you have? Is it about experience or is it about qualifications? Is it about your results primarily, you know? But then it's different because different people care about different things. You can't please everyone. And that is the main thing. You cannot please everyone. You know, you could be as qualified as anything and people will still sit there and be like, well, he's not a good coach, you know. You can get fantastic results, but
what if,
there's going to be all those.
It's so subjective, and so people want different things from a coach. You know, some people are looking for strict discipline, right? But
then you end up questioning yourself, you know, well, you know, they're right. But if you're constantly listening to that kind of thing, you're never going to get anywhere, you're never going to self-develop. Like, you guys must have run into hurdles like that, you know, the identity of athlete movement. Like, for example, where did the name come from?
That sounds like a really staged question.
It does. What's the story behind
the name? Is kind of complicated. So me and Tim worked at a summer camp in America. So I went there in 2006 on my own and loved it. Just had a great time. Came home, told Tim, and he was like, "That sounds amazing." Like, so he came with me to the same camp the next year. And then we did another summer there together, so like my third, his second, and then the next year I didn't go back because I had started university and Tim went back on his own. So we both did 3 summers, but with 2 crossing over. And that's called Camp Samoset. Like Somerset, but Samoset. And that was to do with like Native Americans that lived in that area, and I think they were called the Samoset tribe and that. Anyway, the last summer that Tim went was the camp's last summer. It closed down. They ran out of business. They ran out of money. You know, lack of business, going up against bigger people, bigger camps. And I think, you know, to sum it up without being rude to anyone, it hadn't been run in the right way, and they kind of lost their identity along the way. And yeah, you know, like there's some amazing people there, there's some fantastic people there, but obviously some deadwood. I don't know, maybe some people would have called me and Tim deadwood. Who knows, you know? But we had a great time. Kind of time of your life thing, you know, like life affirming situations. And then So yeah, when we're talking about names, and we're like, it's got to be something that's important to us. But decided on Samoset Fitness, because we were like, it's got a story, right? It's got this lineage. It's got something we can actually talk about.
Yeah, like where you started and
we went
experiences together. Yeah.
And we like pushed forward with that, and we actually got logos made up for it. Professionally, we didn't save a penny in our logos and branding. We felt it was so important to have this like strong image and strong colours and all of that. So, and it was the same with that. So it was going to be called Samoset Fitness. And I think we threw fitness in because we were like, we need people to know we're a gym.
Yeah, it's like that sort of common identity thing. Like.
And kind of later on in the journey, we were already, we're talking 18 months into our journey here. We changed names, and basically we changed names before we'd found the right building. We'd lost on a couple of buildings already before we found the right building. All of that through teaching, especially in a private school, in an independent school, I met some really successful, really wealthy people. Like the kind of people that are CEOs of huge companies, but get up every morning and run 12 miles before they go to work.
Yeah,
those people.
Yeah,
that insane motivation. And
dedicated.
One of them, after I taught his son for a year, said, if there's ever anything I can do for you, just let me know. And again, my restless nature, my like, let's just fire this bullet and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then think about the possible repercussions. I just approached the dad and said, could you do me a favour? And he said, sure. And I said, well, I know you run 3 businesses yourself. I'm looking to open my own business with a friend. Would you mind just reading my business plan?
Yeah.
And I won't lie, I had the intent of trying to convince him to invest in it.
Yeah.
Because I knew that we needed a lot more money than we could raise on our own.
That is probably a whole episode's worth, isn't it? Like investment, especially in setting up a gym.
Getting other people's money.
Yeah, there's not many overheads for coaching and stuff like that. Luckily, Google Sheets, you're a saviour. But yeah. We approached him. His name was Phil,
a really nice guy, and just gave us his time. Read it through, fed back. The very first thing he fed back on was essentially, I hate the name. And really? He asked for why. And it was in the business plan, but I explained to him, and he said, like, I get the message, I get the story, and I know that stories matter. But he said, but what's more important is your name, and that it isn't ridiculous. Mm. And he was like, it sounds like you're in Somerset, but you're not. And he said, that would work if you were in America, if you were in Maine, where that area is, but you're not, you're here. And he said, what's important is that your name tells people what you're about. And he said, tell me what you are about. And I said, well, we're about creating an elite athlete level facility, but for everyone. We want your average person on the street to be able to have access to the level of facility and equipment and knowledge and expertise and motivations and all of that kind of ethos that a professional athlete would enjoy.
Yeah.
And he said, well, athlete's got to be in your name. And I said, like, actually, yeah, I take that.
Yeah.
And he said, tell me more about it. And I said, well, it's about, I want to create something. We want to create like this wave. And, literally I was like, we want to create like just this movement, like we want, our aspirations are more than just being this, we want it to be huge. We want people to take notice. We want to create like this movement. And he genuinely, I will give him credit, Phil Spokes, came up with the name Athlete Movement. And he said, Athlete Movement. And actually there was a bit in the middle where we toyed around with the name Athlete Culture, because we really like zoo culture in America, and we were like taking influence from that. And it was like athlete culture, like we want to create a culture, but it just didn't roll off the tongue nicely, like athlete culture. So we're Athlete Movement. And
so weird.
Genuinely, as stupid as that sounds, came from me teaching this child, awesome kid, his dad offering to help, me biting the bullet and sending the email saying like, how about it? And his input as someone who's experienced in business. And that's why when people come up to me and say like, oh, can you advise me on this? Can you help me on this? Not that I'm saying I'm an expert in business, because I'm very much not. We're kind of learning as we go and making mistakes. But I give them my time because someone gave me their time.
Yeah, and that's where it originated. That's cool.
How hard is it to ask for help? Do you know what I mean? How hard is it to walk up to someone and say?
Yeah, and the fact that person
me.
has chosen you as well, which is cool. Like, I get that a lot as well. People coming to ask for help, and I always feel quite grateful for that, because I used to be that guy going to other people and be like, well, how do you know about that? And why do you know about this? And how do I go about doing that? And, you know, some people would give you a less than helpful answer, but some people would sit there and give you more time.
For some people, they would think that this person asking for help is a potential competitor.
Yeah, I suppose so. And I could see why people get initially quite hostile with it, because, you know, it's a bit of a dog-eat-dog kind of thing.
We've had that conversation before. Like, and I remember you had a client 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, who started coaching and was offering free spots, and you were advertising that he wanted clients. And I said to you, like, how on earth does that work? And I'm there like outraged, like, what are you doing? Like, you're doing yourself down. You're advertising another coach. Yeah. And you said, well, I'm paying it forward. I'm like, I'm helping someone to grow. It's not.
That's it. Because I was, and I am now, and I was then sort of content with where I'm at, you know, and I have that natural organic growth now, just how it is. And I thought, well, why not help someone who clearly is passionate about getting into it, wants to learn, and frankly, someone I know who isn't gonna muck it up, you know, isn't a bad person, isn't a bad coach, you know, it's just wanted to do something nice. And I think that's important. But I can imagine on the flip side, for your industry, that would be the equivalent of telling someone to go to another gym, which then would be bad for business. So
like someone.
There's a bit of a mix around there, isn't there? There's like sort of things that will be conflicting between us, but so that's where the name.
I think someone asking for advice on how to open a gym next door.
Yeah, you'd be like, them,
no,
maybe not.
No. Good luck with that. But yeah, anyway, I think it's been really interesting doing it, like episode 1. And the intention is to do a boatload more, and actually to be like just really consistent with it and moving forward. And the theme has always been that we'll be really honest in it, and we'll put kind of the truth in where other people might not. And I thought like it might be kind of cool to just give a snippet of that, of like what the future will be, by basically saying it's going to be full of mistakes and errors that we've both made. Like for me, for instance, because of my personality, I thought, I can do this. This is easy. I can do this. I'm the kind of person that I can just go and do it. You know, I've been a teacher. I've had all these different hats.
Yeah, I can figure it out.
Yeah, I can just figure it out. You know, like just walk in and have a go. And it was when, like, my major first crisis point, like the cold sweat moment, was when I was talking to a guy who was really established in business, not in the gym world, in the property world. And he was talking to me about all these kind of acronyms and all these buzzwords. And he was like, asking me like, what's your EBITDA going to be? And like, for anyone that doesn't know, Google it. And I thought, oh my God, like I have no idea what that means. And then he said, right, let's talk about VAT. Will you be VAT registered? Will you just be looking at the VAT threshold? And I'm there just trying to match him, trying to not look like a moron. And I'm like, yes, we'll be fine. And then he looks at our figures, you know, in all the business columns, and says, you've got VAT down as 0. And I was like, well, yeah, we won't pay VAT. And
that works.
Yeah, you just don't pay it. And then he was like, you clearly don't understand this. So then I'm going off and researching it, blah, blah, and then I come back and I'm like, well, yeah, like we're going to save all of the VAT, because with VAT, if you pay it out, you can then claim it back. And I'm like, brilliant. We're going to pay all this VAT on equipment and we're just going to claim it back. We're going to have all that money again. Everything's 20% cheaper because we're a business.
Budget's going to be huge.
Budget's going to be huge. And it wasn't the case. And basically he pointed out that I didn't understand VAT and I needed to go and learn. And that realization, whilst I was literally in the middle of teaching, it was, you know, like October or something, had a whole year of teaching ahead, and I'm trying to do my best by the children and the parents and everything, realizing that actually I was in for a hard time of it, a hard graft to actually...
Fundamental first hurdle to get over,
work all day, go home and learn all these things, because actually having a dream is great, and having the belief in yourself, you know, like I know someone who says you always have to back yourself, and I was like, I back myself, and I do, like all the time in everything really, even when I'm like clearly shouldn't. And I was like, back myself, but I need to learn, because actually I can't just say we're going to build this awesome gym and it's going to be amazing. It's not. build it and they will come. That was the first hurdle. It was
Yeah.
actually, oh my God, I have to learn so much.
So many other bits, like moving parts to a business, because like you said earlier, like you strip the gym bit away and it's just a business. And I think for me, my first major hurdle would have been like probably those levels up, like going from university degree where I was like, oh, I could probably just cruise through and get a business job, whatever.
A business job.
Business, and but it wasn't that easy, and then I realized I wanted to do this, and I started out in like a leisure center just because I thought that would be like an easy first way of going into things, nice and guaranteed,
Not like salaried kind of.
yeah, salaried and just easy, and then I could go into it, get some experience. I didn't want to be self-employed from the off. I wanted to sort of go into it a bit more and try and like almost level myself up, and then that
I see. So not just go
like
from
I'm
1
a
to
coach
10.
now, I'm self-employed, I'm my own boss, 24/7 grind, bruh. Like that's not how it is.
Hashtag the grind never stops.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be silly. I didn't want to go in and be like, oh, I'm bankrupt. Like, I'm going to have to actually go and get a desk job now. I wanted to start in the gym industry, but set myself up into it. But I would say my first major hurdle was going self-employed and actually like the fear behind that. And similar thing to you, like what was like all the taxes and like all that kind of stuff. Being your own boss, like earning your own money, and like if this goes wrong, it goes wrong,
That's the thing, that realization that you've got bills to pay and no one's giving you the money to pay them anymore.
Yeah.
And if you get it wrong,
That's
the
it.
bank are coming for your house.
And the fact you have to like invest your money into your business.
Yes,
That's what
yeah,
people don't talk about. Like, you're going to have to
you gotta
make
back
some
yourself,
sacrifices and back yourself. Yeah, big time. Like you are actually backing yourself. But yeah, that was probably my first hurdle, as well as like the whole actually generating clients thing. But I think that's for another episode. Really,
Yeah.
I think that's quite a big
I think
one. Like,
we could do a whole episode on
like lead generations, client stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's that notion, isn't it? Build it and they will come. Open
Yeah,
your
wear the
Instagram
PT
profile with I'm a coach.
I'm a coach,
and
3
they will
spots
come.
left. Wear a PT top. No,
It's like
that's not how
my
it works.
favourite meme on it, where it's like the 5 steps to being an online coach. Step 1, put it in your Instagram bio.
Yeah.
Step 2 and onwards are blank. Like you're just, I'm a coach now. Like this
Yeah.
is great. Which is where, I guess being a gym owner, you can't do that. You actually
Lots
have
of
to have a gym.
hurdles, and that's an inevitable part of setting up your own thing. Building a gym, setting up coaching, being a coach, coaching service.
I guess like
just
for any
inevitable.
job, right? Like being an electrician, you actually have to.
Yeah, you're going
Know
to
what
run
you're
into
doing
those issues.
But I think wrap it up for episode 1. Hopefully, people will understand that we don't know what we're doing with audio editing and video editing, and we're going to be learning
It's
as
all
we go.
new. Like we said, stick yourself in the deep end. But I think,
crack
like
on.
you said, that probably is good for episode 1. So we'll wrap that up there. I think we'd love questions, feedback, stuff like that. Wouldn't we? That'd be great. So if you guys, if you are watching and tuning in, then if you put that in the comments down below, or just send us a message, we'll include our social media links, obviously in the bio and stuff like that. Subscribe to the channel.
Like, subscribe, comment,
Share it around.
and kind of watch next episode, because it's going to be a completely different format again. So it will be, this was our introductory, this is who we are, explaining a little bit about the businesses and what's to come. Probably this one's probably longer than the rest will be.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we're going to have some guests on in time.
That'd be good. We've got lots of cool things planned there.
Yeah, and we've got some cool people to introduce and some people to bribe to come on.
Yes.
And
Behind the back kind of deals.
Yeah. So yeah, cool, great.
Stay tuned for more.